Round of 16. Brazil 4, South Korea 1. The Seleção march on to the quarterfinals. All engines roaring. The Taeguk Warriors exit at the round of 16 for the third time this century. But they did well enough to get here. So, where to start with this match? Well, very briefly, to state the obvious, it was David versus Goliath from the very beginning. And at the end of the day, the main takeaway is the most obvious one, which is that the huge, considerable gap in quality between these two sides. It was a mismatch. Korea were up against it from the opening whistle. The second, which I think is the untold story of this match, because I do think there's an untold story in this game. And it ties into the gap in quality, but it is moreover the way that Korea approached this match, because I do think, despite the fact that I predicted a 3-0 win for Brazil, ended up being a 3-goal margin, I do think that that first half lambasting was at least somewhat avoidable. I think that it was at least somewhat avoidable for Korea to not be in a 3-0 hole before the half-hour mark. How? Like, what do I mean by that? Because of the way that Korea approached this game. There's a reason why every Brazil was winning every loose ball, and whenever they went on the break, they found themselves often in a 4v2 situation, a 4-on-2. And it's because of the fact that Paulo Bento made Korea go out there and play their own game. They decided to not park the bus, and they decided to try to play out from the back. The reason that Brazil was always finding themselves in 4v2 situations on counters was because Korea always sent their left backs and their right backs up for more support on the attack. They were pushing higher up the pitch. There were moments when Korea was absorbing pressure when Brazil were hounding them into their own box. But whenever Korea had the ball, they pushed numbers forward. And they played that system of playing out from the back. And this was essentially the way that they played for most of the group stages. Obviously, it didn't work out, because, of course, that strategy can cost you games. But as a neutral watching it, it is aesthetically more pleasing to watch. Because most teams set up in a way against Brazil that is to put numbers behind the ball and pray to God for chances on the break or on set pieces, or to drag the game out and put a wear and tear on the Brazilian offense. To an extent, that's what we saw in the Serbia match for Brazil, and we saw that in Switzerland as well. Korea decided to hell with that. And Korea lost this match so resolutely because they decided to go out there and meet Brazil as equals. It's not just because of the gap in quality. It is because of the way that Korea approached this game. It is. When their left backs and their right backs was pushing further up the pitch to help out with the attack, I knew that they were going for it. It was ballsy. Of course, it didn't pay off, but that's what they were trying to do. Another thing to consider is that South Korea doesn't really have any depth on the wings. This is why Kim Jin-soo and Kim Won-hoon played all three group games for the 90 minutes, and as well as this one. Both of them played pretty badly against Ghana, which was the second game in Korea's group. But at least for this game against Brazil, I would say it's a little bit harsh to throw rocks at them, especially since it's Brazil at the end of the day. But you could see that South Korea was very limited in that area of the pitch. They have no options off the bench to really give them the pace they need on the wings. And so it was good to see Vinicius Jr. get his first of the tournament. Great assist by Rafinha. He cuts inside the outer edge of the right-hand side of South Korea's box. He lays that off. It zooms past. It still stays on the ground. It zooms past like 3, 4 Korean defenders, and it finds Vinny Jr. way on the other side, and he slots that home. Neymar's penalty, was there a foul in the box? I think it was a penalty. I know a lot of people thought it was harsh. It was minimal contact. People accuse Neymar of embellishing. I don't think that's the case. There's contact. It's in the box. It's a foul. It's a penalty. That's it. There's a difference between a player like going to ground too easy and when a Korean defender has his foot up as high as he did. It was almost a studs up type situation. And it's a penalty. It's unfortunate for South Korea, but 2-0 up for Brazil. And then the third goal from Richarlison. Oh my God. The way that ball gets deflected and then he levels it off his chest. 1, 2, 3 touches. He makes that turnaround. He skirts around the number 6. He makes the turnaround, lays that off for Marquinhos. Marquinhos is seeing Thiago Silva to pass that to. Meanwhile, Richarlison is already reading the situation, and he's running into the box to get open into some space because he knows that ball is going towards Thiago Silva, and Silva is there to assist that to Richarlison, who just has the entire Korean back line beat. And that's just beautiful. It's just beautiful football. It's one of the best team goals of the tournament. This and the Remo Freuler goal for Switzerland against Serbia. This is one of the best team goals of the tournament. Richarlison is having an absolutely great World Cup. Between this and that goal that he scored against Serbia in the group stages, that in the second half of that match, he has been one of the most electric players in this World Cup. And then for South Korea, you have to give some respect. They did pull one back. They did get a consolation. They got the only goal of the second half. And it came off of a set piece that then fell to the left foot of Park Sang-ho. And he shoots a worldie from outside the box. And he has Alisson beat there. That's a great quality goal. It's from considerable distance. He's about 25 yards out from where he scores that. And you can argue after the Richarlison strike, that was actually the second best goal of the game. Because a lot of players, when the ball falls to them off of a rebounded set piece, we see it a million times, right? They sky it, the effort. They sky it into the stands, and it goes out for a goal kick. But like a rocket, he slots that into the net, and Alisson has nothing to respond to there. So, for Korea, they leave with their heads held high. They made the knockout stages for the first time since 2010. And what do you expect? It's just about as well as they can do against this really OP levels of strong Brazilian team. And Brazil marches on to play Croatia.